It's the Smart Mark video response. Responding to you cause you asked me to. Smart Mark video response. We're gonna talk about something you just talked about. The Smart Mark video response. We're doing what you asked. Talking about something you just talked about a few minutes ago.
Wrestling fans, I'm going to step out the box today, and I'm probably going to use this format to continue to do this because the IWO show is meant to be about Impact Wrestling, and I do want to take the time to talk about WWE and Ring of Honor or FCW, whatever sometimes. So for the moment, what I'm going to do is respond to other videos that people have posted and just kind of chime in on the discussion. Here recently, what people have been kind of talking about is, are Daniel Bryan, Cody Rhodes, or Dolph Ziggler ready to be main eventers? And although the WWE would have you believe they are, if you're been watching wrestling as long as I have, you would know that none of these guys should be in the main event. But that's kind of what the WWE has done recently, is put guys into the main event too soon, put belts around them too soon, and then after what ends up being meaningless title reigns, they just kind of slip into obscurity. Sometimes they'll climb back out of that, but it used to be that a guy got built for 2-3 years most of the time before even being considered for the belt. So on the three that we're talking about today, first off, I'll start with Dolph Ziggler. Of the three, I think he has the most charisma and the best look, and very well could be a main eventer someday. I think his mic skills need a lot of work. He needs to really learn how to just create some heat. I think most of the heat that Dolph Ziggler gets is either A, from Vicky Guerrero, or B, what you would call cheap heat, you know, telling the fans to shut up or something, you know. He needs to really find that part of his character that just turns people off and where people can really hate him. The one thing I would say is his name sounds like a 70s porn star, and with that alone, I don't think that you're going to have a Dolph Ziggler as the face of the WWE, ever. Maybe if he goes away, comes back under a different name somehow or something. I think the man has the skills, but the character is just not. I mean, it's a Rick Rude, Val Venus type of character with a name like that. So, not ready yet. Definitely has the skills to be a main eventer, but I just don't see him getting that kind of push anytime really soon. I know a lot of people are seeming to think he's on the fast track to the main event, and I hope that Jets get cooled a little bit on that. Go to Daniel Bryan next. Daniel Bryan is probably the wrestler on this list that has the most street credit. Obviously, a lot of people know him from Ring of Honor, and I think that's why most of you people like him. But as somebody that's saying, okay, what does Joe Schmo like? What does the guy that barely watches wrestling, or the, you know, what do the kids want? I don't think Daniel Bryan has enough charisma, enough size. He doesn't have the body. There's just nothing when you look at him that makes you think this guy is a superstar. He kind of reminds me of RVD, and although I never really felt like RVD was the most charismatic guy, I think he makes Daniel Bryan look like, I mean, it's just too vanilla. So, I don't, and it's so weird because why did they have him win Money in the Bank if ultimately the purpose of that was not to propel him into that world title picture? But, I mean, I'd probably talk about him the least because I think he's the most obvious. Why would they want somebody that is that boring to be the champion? And at least in any kind of meaningful title run, I could see him maybe cashing that Money in the Bank in and then losing in his first title defense. What good does that do anybody? Thirdly, we've got Cody Rhodes. I really feel like Cody Rhodes is kind of the man of the hour right now. He's getting a bigger push, the smarter push. He's got the mask off now, which, you know, to some degree, I think the mask really did help propel his character along, but it was a good time to get that off of him. And the thing with Cody Rhodes that, for me, I think that he's still got work to do as far as getting his, you know, his promo together, but he is a good wrestler, and the name, obviously, you kind of think back to The Rock or, you know, Randy Orton as far as he's got that second generation, and you kind of, you know, think of Goldust as part of that for some reason with him, although, you know, they're brothers, but the lineage is there, but he seems small to me. Just the fact, him and Randy Orton, you know, it's kind of like, you look at these two guys, and although, I mean, Randy Orton, I'm definitely not a fan, but he looks like a big dude, you know, he looks like somebody that the average guy wouldn't want to fuck with. Cody Rhodes kind of looks like a frat boy or something. I don't know. He still doesn't stand out as, like, to me, somebody that would say, oh, he's the man. Would you ever believe that Cody Rhodes could beat a Goldberg? I mean, they keep thrusting these guys at us that are just not, you know, it's like the criteria for somebody that they put in the main event and to carry the company, you know, basically, can this guy beat Hogan, beat Stone Cold in their prime? Could Dolph Ziggler beat Stone Cold? Maybe. I would say of the three, maybe. He has the most to offer when it comes to that, the best look, the best mic skills of the three, but he definitely needs to stay heel, and we'll see. The guys that I feel we should be talking about, guys that are right there and are becoming the next superstars for this company, for the WWE. Obviously, CM Punk would be first. I feel like he's had, you know, kind of a meteoric slow build, but we've seen him in meaningful storylines, and although he's not the biggest guy, his mic skills are obviously, you know, way superior to 99% of the roster, so get him on the mic. Kind of reminds me a lot of like a Shawn Michaels, you know, DX era Shawn Michaels. CM Punk, Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett has a great look, good size. He not necessarily the best talker, but the thing about Wade Barrett is when he says something, you kind of believe it. And so, I mean, he hasn't done anything to show me he can really bring real heat. Definitely hasn't shown me much as far as being possible babyface, but I guess I could see that. And maybe the best is still to come from him as a babyface. We'll see. But he's definitely somebody I could see for the next 5 to 10 years being one of the top guys in the company. Alberto Del Rio. I know most people really don't like him, but he so reminds me of like an 80s era wrestler, for different reasons. He so reminds me of a Rick Rude or a Mr. Perfect or Tito Santana. He's got the size, the look, the attitude, and he has been brought basically from day one as somebody that's being sold to you as, I'm going to be important. One last guy that I think for the next 5 to 10 years we're going to be seeing, and I want to wrap this up, but Sheamus, really, of anybody I just mentioned outside of maybe CM Punk, Sheamus is the superstar. An interesting look, interesting on promos, most of the time, and just the build of the guy. You could see him fighting anybody, and with the right push behind it, the right story being told, you could see him beating anybody. So for me, the next superstars, the new generation, guys that we ought to be talking about, are CM Punk, Wade Barrett, Alberto Del Rio, and Sheamus. You add those guys to Cena and Randy Orton, and I think that's the roster of the future. That's where for the next, and trust me, Cena and Orton aren't going anywhere. So these are the 4 guys I think that you actually see getting to that level where you think on any given night they could beat Cena or Orton. But it's a long ways off for Daniel Bryan, Cody Rhodes, or Dolph Ziggler for me to respect that as a champion. And it's a lot of times it's their characters. It's not necessarily that I think they're bad wrestlers or it's the character they're playing. Honestly, and Cody Rhodes, it's his size. I think he's got a great character, but just undersized. It'd kind of be like Christopher Daniels coming to WWE and them trying to convince me that he's a heavyweight champion. He doesn't have that kind of look, but let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm trying to just be part of the conversation and give my 2 cents, and I look forward to hearing your 2 cents. So join us on the IWO show after Impact, and we'll talk about what happens on the show tonight. So thanks for watching, guys.